Welcome to Sports Econ 101. And for those of you new to our show, imagine a few guys sitting around a bar without the drinks, talking sports and business with you, the audience listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, well-known radio sports personality Bruce McGowan, and Vern Glenn of CBS affiliate KPIX-TV in San Francisco. On this show, we discuss sports from a business perspective. We are going to be talking sports. In addition, we're going to be asking sports trivia questions where we're giving away vacations to the first three callers with the correct answer. Our phone number is 888-660-4495. Write that number down, 888-660-4495, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for three vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during the show. Now, the vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Lighthouse Resort and Marina. The vacations are free. Their only request, a $75 clean fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Check them out. Their website is lighthouseforfun.com. Today's trivia theme is NBA memories. The reason we're having that is because our special guest later on in the show is going to be Bob Myers, the general manager of the Golden State Warriors. And a few things we're going to cover in today's show. How will this season be remembered in the NBA? It seems like it'll be the year of the whistle. How about the greatest sports deal of all time? A lot of people probably don't know this one. What is making the Indiana Pacers so good? And possible Redskins, Washington Redskins names. We've been trying to cover that for the last couple of weeks. Maybe we'll give it a chance to talk about it today. Donovan McNabb's claim that NASCAR racers are not athletes. We'll get into a little discussion on that. Bryce Harper says that he is ready for arbitration already. I don't know about that. Women fighting in the MMA, the new division for 115 pounds. It's called the strawweight. If you have any questions, you can email Edward at SportsEcon101. We'll try to answer it on the air. And this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding over 8% secured by real estate. It doesn't get any more conservative than that. Please check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, and we will be right back.
Nice guy, too. He was in bad shape.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
That was pass interference the other night.
And
Terrible call.
Yeah.
Bruce McGowan.
Terrible non-call.
That's
Sorry, Gronk.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I
They
know.
got robbed, and so did the 49ers. They got robbed. on
Yeah,
Sunday.
Ahmad Brooks, hey. Yeah.
No,
Hey,
that
we
was-
got your back.
That was not a hit.
Well,
On
wait,
Drew
wait,
Brees.
first of all, the Gronkowski, if you look at the trajectory of the ball,
Mhm.
he
Yeah, the ball was underthrown. There's no doubt about that.
He could have, if you look from the side, he could have come back and made the catch.
But more importantly, the guy, Keechley, was bear hugging him. He
Yeah.
was holding him.
Yeah, so
You can't do that.
So as we said before, just go ahead, right off the line, just hold a guy,
Yeah.
and then no balls can be ever.
I would have called. I probably would have called holding at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
You know, and giving him another shot.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, they've lost. When they lose a game to the Jets in controversial fashion, gave the kicker for the Jets a second chance to kick a
That's right.
game-winning field goal.
That's right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
on the attempt, the guy pushed a teammate
Yeah.
so he could go the ball. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So they gave him just another shot.
Well, just think of it. The New England could be 9-1 right now.
Yeah.
There were some crazy calls.
Well, the
This
thing about Ahmad Brooks, I mean, we were talking about this. Maybe what we should do is give the quarterback flags, and it'll be flag football to get or two-hand touch.
Put a little tutu around his waist.
Yeah.
And go ahead. Yeah, you can't touch him.
My good friend George Atkinson put it best. He said, they're legislating defense out of the game. It's
That's
true.
That's true.
I mean, I understand they're trying to protect these guys from getting hurt, but geez, come on. You got to let these guys play football. This is a man's game.
Yeah, how about Ray Lewis after the game? He took out his American Express corporate card and said, if this guy gets fined, I'll pay half of it. And he brandishes his
I love it.
corporate card. I don't know if
I
you
didn't see that
can.
one.
Can you
That's
expense
great.
that? I don't know.
I don't know. I have to think about that one.
That's
But,
a good one.
if you pay someone else's fine, I don't think it's expensible or tax deductible. A little sad news. Who died in the Raiders?
Thomas Howard.
Thomas Howard, yeah, linebacker, outstanding.
Very serviceable
Yeah.
linebacker for the Raiders. Good special teamers. I think he might have been special teams captain when he was with the Raiders.
And he was a good, as Vernon was mentioning, he was a go-to guy. I did the Raiders pre and post game shows with Jason Ross from Sacramento Radio for a couple of years, and we always talked to Thomas at camp, and he was always so likable and happy-go-lucky. You know, he was, you could tell, Vernon, though, he did have a little edge on him, and who knows? You know, he got cut loose by the Falcons a couple weeks ago, and he just might have.
Is that where he's going 110 miles an hour?
Well, who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
for those of you that are listening or watching, hello America, the go-to guy. Every team, as far as the media corps, when we cover these teams, every team has what we call a go-to guy, and that is the one guy. Yeah, that's one guy in the locker room or in the clubhouse, win or lose, that you could go to that will give a mature, serviceable 15 to 20 second post-game soundbite
Thoughtful
that you can use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are they
Thoughtful,
just nice,
provocative.
are they just nice guys, and that's why they do it?
Generally speaking, I think
investing for the future.
I just think it's just the general makeup of the player.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is maybe his background, you know, where he came from, and if he was well versed enough, where he could speak. And Thomas Howard was one of those guys.
It's nice when you run into players, Edward, who are good talkers, for lack of a better term to put it. You know, have something interesting and provocative to say, but are also nice people. And Thomas Howard was a nice guy. He might have been a party animal, whatever. I mean, he was driving 115, 120. What the heck was he doing?
Yeah, and for the audience that just doesn't know,
Yeah.
kind of catching up a little bit, he was driving his car at a high rate of speed on 880 South in the East Bay in Oakland, in the Bay Area, and with someone in the car, and I believe the car clipped the back of a truck,
That's right.
lost control, went airborne,
and
and
somebody else.
killed somebody
Well,
else.
flew across the freeway and had a car going in the
He had a
opposite
car
direction.
coming in the opposite direction, and he had no chance. So
And
that's
neither did the poor guy in the other car.
Exactly.
He had no chance either. 69-year-old fellow that got killed. Can you imagine that? You're driving down the road, all of a sudden here's this airborne car coming right at you. Yeah.
boy, and the Raiders, snake pit. That's two Raiders gone in a week with Todd Richardson, and it's interesting. At Dennis Allen's Monday press conference, the word had not gone out yet.
Wow.
So there were. It was only until after the press conference was over, and there was some locker room access that the news started to permeate through the,
Because it
the
happened
locker
just
room.
the night before. Huh?
Yeah, it was done. Just terrible.
He was what, 50?
Who's that?
Todd
Tip
Christensen?
54, I think.
54?
Yeah,
57.
Was he that old?
Yes, he was 57 years old.
He had some kind of a.
He had liver problems or whatever.
problem,
Yeah, and
yeah.
he went in for surgery and just died right on the table.
Yeah. I think he had some kind of other internal problem, and then there was liver problems as a result of that. And you know, he didn't live a hard life. He was a Mormon, you know, for crying out loud. But he played a lot of football, and God knows he probably took a lot of hits.
Very, very good tight end
Yeah.
Terrific.
for the Raiders. And
Four-time Pro Bowler, I think.
yeah, and another one of those go-to guys in the locker room. Now, this is before my career started, but I mean, you see him on TV. He's using like 3 and 4 syllable words. You're like, what? Where's the dictionary? Look that up.
He actually picked up books and read them. He knew what they were for. He'd say, "Oh, this is something I should learn. A little something about life here."
Hey,
So
Cletus, he said incestuous. What does that mean?
what is it about?
We got a cess tank in the backyard. I know what that is, but incestuous, what is that?
Why is it? This is going to sound really unfair, but why is it that dumb is so popular now in this country? I mean, we celebrate dumbness.
Mm-hmm.
We really do.
Well, I think because people like to elevate themselves more, and then they laugh at other people.
I guess. Okay, there you go. That makes sense.
Okay, now fairly soon here we're going to have Bob Myers, the general manager of the Golden State Warriors, on. But I thought I'd kind of catch up with you guys on this. How will this season of the NBA be remembered? Some people are saying that maybe it's going to be the year of the whistle, because they're expecting new rules cracking down on hand checking and physical contact, leading to a barrage of fouls, especially early in the season as players and coaches adjust to the changes. You seen a lot of that?
Well, they'll police that up once these games go longer than expected, and on doubleheader day, once games start bleeding into the next game, things will get policed up. I mean, they'll clean that up. I mean, the league sends out mandates to everyone, not just players, not just coaches, but to referees too, on how to call these things.
I will say this: I've been to about 3 NBA games already this year, and I haven't noticed an inordinate number of penalties. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, these guys are only human, and if they're told, "Hey, you got to tighten things up," I mean, they're going to tighten things up.
If anything, I've noticed in this early part of the NBA season, I don't know about you, Bruce, but I think the attention to detail has been really addressed, especially at the end of the game when a good timeout is called and the assistant comes out and they crowd around him and they draw up a play. It's the execution, and I think the defense around the league has been a lot better. I mean, maybe it's just me.
Well, you know what it is? I think also we're spoiled. We're watching one of the best teams in basketball right now. The Golden State Warriors are probably the 4th or 5th best team in the NBA as we
There's
speak.
only 3 teams right
Yeah.
now at the time that we're doing the show that have a better record
Yeah.
than the Golden
And
State
And the
Warriors.
Pacers are one of them.
How about the Portland Trailblazers? They won 7 in games
Are
in
they
a
still in
row.
the league?
Yeah, no, they're not. They're in a, what is it called, the Northwest Division or something?
Yeah, but you brought it up Edward, with the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah,
They
wait,
just been-
yeah.
wow.
Why are they so good?
I haven't paid.
You know what, they've been-
attention.
they-
I mean,
they're-
Detlef Shrimp hasn't been with them for what,
Well,
20 years?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean they have
That's
been
amazing.
competitive
Yeah.
throughout the years. It's just that this year they just
Yeah.
got off to a great start. I mean, they just could not lose a game.
And that's a great basketball town, by the way. I know Indiana's a smaller market town, but Indiana is just Hoosiers.
Mhm.
Indiana University.
No, they're still
I mean,
chanting Reggie.
oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
I still remember that game against the Knicks.
I cannot wait to ask Bob Myers, the general manager of the Warriors, just how he built this team. And I know it took hours and negotiations and making these deals with it, but I can't wait to find out how he built this team and
Yeah.
what
Okay,
his
well, when he
and
comes
what
on,
his
we'll
vision
ask him.
was when he had that the draft board and had the depth and all that kind of stuff, because he lost some good players, but
Yeah.
man, did he rebuild.
Boy,
Make sure you write that down, and we'll ask him that. Okay, we're going to cut to our first commercial break. Again, the theme is, since we're going to have Bob on pretty soon, NBA memories. And I told Vern ahead of time, I said, I've got one hard question, one medium question, and one, I don't know.
In your opinion,
Yeah, in my opinion,
Okay.
my humble opinion, that is correct.
we'll be the judge of that.
Yes, you will. Okay. What was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's born first name?
Oh, that's
kind of the way it went.
easy.
Okay, what was his
His
basically-
given first name.
First
Yeah.
name. Don't say anything.
Okay, all right.
First 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouseforfun.com. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. What was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's given first name? Again, one more time, 888-660-4495. Please make sure to give us your name and your email address. Speak slowly. Spell out your email one letter at a time. Don't touch that dial because Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
That's too easy.
Yeah, that's
It's okay.
softball.
I had to get you one easy one.
Wow.
Well, maybe anybody under 30. Some people might have a hard time.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
Cassius
yeah, I would
Clay,
think so.
right? You know,
I can remember one of my earliest memories of Lou Alcindor back in those was with he was on as a guest. He had like a guest spot on an episode of Mannix. Remember Mannix?
Yes.
Sure,
Mike
with
Carter.
Yeah, Mannix, because Mannix's character
Yeah,
had played basketball at UCLA,
that's right.
and there was some scene in
Yeah,
Paulie. He
right.
was there to kind of he was
That
investigating
show,
something. He was trying to question somebody, and Lou Alcindor's there. And,
I always remember the game.
Yeah.
I always remember with Lou Alcindor was the game against University of Houston and Elvin Hayes in the Astrodome when Houston beat UCLA.
Mhm.
It was one of the few times they lost a big game. That and the loss to Notre Dame and Adrian Dantley. God, that guy-
Oh, I forgot
AD.
about that.
Adrian Dantley.
AD.
Great player. God. Yeah, I think the Warriors. I think they could be as good as they've ever been.
Yeah.
Maybe with the exception of the 2 teams that won championships. In '67, they almost won the championship, and in '75, they did win the championship. They were so good in '67. Rick Barry, Nate Thurman, Thomas Sherry, Jeff Mullins, Paul Newman was there, and a guy named Jim King, and Clyde Lee,
Clifford Gray.
and Clifford Ray from the '70s. This is way back.
I had
This
big
was like
hands, remember that.
he did. Oh, he used to.
He always fumble all the time, though.
He didn't have the great. Oh my gosh! Look at there he is, Kareem. He's got to be 60.
Picture, I like that. Send that to me.
Okay.
Kareem's got to be about.
I'll put it on the website.
Kareem's got to be about 66, maybe 67.
That's about right.
He came out in 1970, right?
The 1970. That's right.
71.
Because the second year they won the championship in Milwaukee in
He's about 10
'71.
years old. That would mean he's
Yeah.
about 10 or 11 years older than I am, so he's about 65 then.
Wow, that just blows me away. You know what's the key for his longevity was yoga. He was a huge.
That, and I understand he never got hurt because he did
Yeah.
heavy rope.
Yeah.
Jump rope. He didn't lift weights.
No.
Never did any of
No,
that. Just
no.
heavy rope.
Just
Which,
heavy-
I mean, that'll.
and lots of stretching.
Look at your sales.
Well, you don't need to. It doesn't hurt to have a little muscle when you play basketball, but you don't need it as much as you do in football.
Oh no! And when I would work out and do I couldn't shoot anything. So
Yeah.
I mean, you get the guy like Shaq. Yeah, he can get all the muscle he can. It doesn't matter.
I wish I was better at basketball. That's not one sport I actually was relatively good in. Not good enough to play anything more in high school. You know,
I didn't get
JV.
into it until after college.
Yeah, a lot of it's one of those sports that you can pick up quickly. If you're athletic, you can pick it up.
Well, yeah, it's funny. I was good on defense.
Yeah.
My offense, though, I
Yeah.
just couldn't do it.
I always loved it.
You ever notice? Whenever you watch an NBA game or really any basketball game, you listen to the announcers. They never address the ball as simply a ball. It's like you must protect the basketball. Can he shoot the basketball? You must defend the basketball.
Or the rock. Well, they take the rock sometimes. That's more in football, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Football,
you're pounding the rock.
Pounding the rock, yeah.
I've
I've heard guys mention
baseball then.
the pill. I don't know.
The pill.
That's an old term. That's really old. That's before my time. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, God, the pill.
Okay.
How about Tim Hudson joining the Giants?
Oh, great.
Great move.
Great.
Fantastic.
2 years, $23 million,
That's a
How old
great
is he
pickup.
now? Though?
37.
Yeah, but
You
he's
always get these guys and they're old.
well, but you got him for 2 years. You know, that's all you need him for. They got a whole bunch of kids coming up in a couple of years.
Durable, a very durable, serviceable
Yeah.
pitcher.
He hardly ever gets hurt.
Except for, he broke his ankle. That was a freak play last year.
But apparently, it's all okay. It's won 211 games in his career.
God, I knew him when he was single. I knew him when he got married. Knew him when he had his daughter.
He's a nice young guy.
Man,
He's
and
a
he's
good-
one of the few guys that will do interviews
Yeah.
on the day that he pitches.
Well, Lincecum comes that way too.
Crazy.
Lincecum is
Didn't
one of
he
those
pitch
guys.
for the A's? Didn't he start?
Yeah,
He's a
he was
terrific pitcher.
part of the big three.
He was there for 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. From 98 to 98 to 204.
Yeah.
They won 4 titles.
Putty,
Yeah.
Mulder, Zito.
Yeah, it was great.
That's right. Yeah, this was big
He's kind of built like Lincecum, about 6 feet, about 170.
Mhm, yeah.
Older version of Timmy. And he's got that long stride, too.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Yep,
sir.
good.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn
Yeah.
and Bruce McGowan.
Thank you.
When we cut to the first commercial question, these guys said it was an easy one. So let's give it to you here. What was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's given first name?
Lou.
Alcindor.
Lou Alcindor.
And you would both be wrong.
What?
His
Ah.
first name is Ferdinand.
Oh,
What?
please.
Seriously, his given
Oh,
first name is Ferdinand.
please.
Lou
That's a
is
trick
it-
question.
Yes, it was. Lou is his middle name.
So you're not going to give the person, somebody's going to have to say Ferdinand?
Correct.
Oh,
if they said
boy.
Lou, that is a Lou. That is his
Oh.
middle name.
I'll let the audience in on this. My first name is not Vern. It's James.
Really?
My middle name
is Vern.
is
right?
Vern.
Oh, I have a friend of mine like that. His name was Michael Andy Walker, but we always called him Andy. So, yeah. That's interesting.
See?
I like that.
I like Fern, though.
Yeah.
Jimmy James is the one, not a Fern.
Yeah.
Edward, you got us.
I got you on that one. Okay, and that was the easy one. No,
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Okay, changing subjects here. The greatest sports deal of all time. Again, talking basketball here.
Trade?
For the team or for the player?
No, just in general. So get this. Okay, have you guys ever heard of Ozzie and Daniel Silna?
No.
They were former owners of the ABA's St. Louis Spirits.
Oh, gosh.
So they were spurned by the NBA after merger talks, and it helped the NBA absorb four former ABA teams. Okay, so they decided to waive a chance at a massive buyout from the NBA, and they struck a deal to receive 1/7 of each of the yearly television revenue for the 4 ABA teams:
Wow.
the Pacers, the Spurs, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Denver Nuggets.
Wow.
So the NBA is not very happy about this now because 1/7 of the money goes to them. So they're talking about potentially
For
doing
a franchise
buyout.
that no longer exists.
Yeah,
Just
and
go
you know-
right into their pockets.
Do you know who their radio announcer was, or television announcer? Bob Costas.
Really?
Bob Costas, and their top player, of course, was Marvin Bad News Barnes. Excuse me, I think the president is calling me. I have to
Yeah,
answer this call.
you tell Barack he's just going to have to wait.
Yeah, that's right.
Good
So
gracious.
Sports Econ 101, we're in the middle of a
Yeah,
very serious
that's right.
conversation. You're going to have to call me back.
It says
Thank
here,
you.
because the NBA wasn't held in high televised ideal back in 1976,
Mhm.
which is true, even the Silnas could not have estimated the windfall they've taken over the years since. It took a full 5 years after striking the deal for the league to even have its championship games televised during prime time.
Hey, you know,
I remember that
Yeah,
because
amazing.
because I was living on the East Coast and we would get the games are like 11:30 Eastern
That's
time.
right. You know, here's an interesting story. The first Major League Championship team here in the Bay Area was not the Oakland A's of 1972, but the Oakland Oaks of 1968 with Rick Barry. Actually, 68, 69 with Rick Barry. And you know who also was on that team? Doug Moe and Larry Brown were teammates on that team.
Wow.
Along with such
Coach Larry Brown?
Yes.
Really?
All those
Larry
coaches.
Brown was a great player,
He
man.
was a great player.
He's one of those. He's one of those Dean Smith,
Yeah.
North Carolina Tar Heel boys that was
Oh, yeah.
recruited out of one of the New York high schools in the Pipeline, right on down Tobacco Road, to play at the old Carmichael Auditorium
There you go.
on
That's some
campus of
history.
UNC.
But the Oakland Oaks, they had Jim Hadnot, who was from Oakland, and Laverne Jelly Tart, who was not on that championship team, by the way. He was on the original team. I love that name, Laverne Jelly Tart. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Pat Riley, I don't really know much about him except
Oh.
for the fact that when you
Great
go
player
back-
at Kentucky.
Another
Oh,
Yeah,
Another
and,
good player.
and what was it's now UTEP. It used to be Western Texas.
Oh, the first
The
all
first
black
all-black
team.
Yeah.
team, right?
He
And-
beat
and-
his team.
that was
His
the
team.
1965 NCAA tournament championship
Yeah.
game.
And they're talking about going against the great Pat Riley.
That's right.
Kansas.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Kentucky,
Yeah,
that's
on the
right.
all-white Adolph Rupp
Yeah.
Kentucky team.
Adolph Rupp, yeah.
And these guys went, but yeah, they made that movie out of it, Glory Road.
But that, I couldn't remember.
Go
the name
rent
of it.
that
Go
one.
rent- Yeah,
That's a
good
good
That's a very
Netflix
good
rental
movie.
there.
Adolph Rupp, who I think it was Adolph Rupp who said this. It may have been somebody else, but I think he said, we're not going to have a Negro player until the Harlem Globetrotters have a white player. I think it might have been him that said that.
But it took that game before Rupp said, "All right, we gotta,
Yeah.
we had some color on this team."
Yeah.
Well, there was
Interesting to know that, and there's a documentary on this one too for football. It took the Alabama USC college football game in 1960 whatever.
69, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before Alabama started integrating players on its team.
Well,
Yeah.
there was an old movie. It was I think it was a B movie about Pistol Pete
Mhm.
when in his younger days,
Mhm.
and his dad was the coach.
Press
Right?
Maravich,
Yeah, Press
yeah.
Maravich, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I remember part of that movie is Press is going across town, and it's it's an all black league or whatever, and he's going, this is the future because these guys can really play. And at the very last game, they have his team versus the black players, and the black players just barely beat them. And it's a cute movie, and the kid they have playing is a terrible actor if he can play ball. It's a kind of fun movie. So and I don't remember the name of it, but it's like The Pistol, I think.
Okay.
Is actually the name of it.
Well, there's a guy who was a great college player, but boy, he's not a bad pro player, but man,
He was injured a lot in the
Yeah,
pros.
he was. But he got to play on the championship team with the Celtics late
He
in his
did.
career.
Yeah,
He did.
And I think he
Nice
still has the record for average of 45 points in college.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous.
Average score. And he
What was he? Was he 41, 42 when he
48,
died?
yeah,
Heart
he had a
attack?
Heart attack. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was a smoker, a heavy smoker.
Was he really?
Oh yeah. Rick Barry told me the story. He said that well, not Rick. Jim Barnett told me the story that he would not smoke a lot, but he smoked a lot more than anybody else.
Well, you want to have some fun, boy. You pull up YouTube and you just type in Pete Maravich.
Oh,
play
yeah.
just what he could do with the basketball
Yeah.
was
He was
just
not the
unbelievable.
He
yeah.
was a magician.
Round ball.
He was a true magician. Yeah.
Okay, this was something we were trying to cover a couple weeks ago, and we kind of kept missing it. The Washington Redskins. They, again, changing their name. A couple people wrote in here. I thought it was kind of funny. Okay, so if they change their name, what should it be? Someone writes in the Washington Taterskins
Tater skins.
instead of the Redskins, I guess, like potatoes.
Yeah.
Someone else, the Washington Politically Corrects.
Mhm.
The Washington Pigeons. I didn't understand that one.
Hey, how about the Senators? They're not taken by no team in Washington is called the Senators. It used to be-
Senators, diplomats,
Yeah. Why
filibusters.
not? Filibusters.
Says here,
Lobbyists.
it says not the Bravehearts. Wouldn't Mel Gibson get mad?
Yeah.
Oh, they'll be on Monday Night Football with against the Niners
Yeah.
next week.
That's right.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll be covering that game.
Oh, you're going back? That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Get to see RG3.
CBS San Francisco game.
RG3 doesn't have the mobility he used to have, but boy, he's still fun to watch.
Yeah,
He is
but his
dangerous.
knees, you just
Yeah.
you got to figure he's got to be a little gun shy about those knees.
How about that? How about the division? The NFC least.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's ridiculous. Is there a team that's actually?
I don't think it was a team above 500.
Yeah, that's awful.
I don't think anyone's winning.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's in the league.
Well, then you look at the AFC West, where you have Denver and Kansas City 9-1 each. I mean, Denver finally destroyed Kansas. I think was that their first loss of the year? I guess
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see. How about? Did you hear about Donovan McNabb calling NASCAR racers that they're not athletes.
Ooh.
This has been debated throughout the years, whether they're athletes or not.
Yeah.
And I go back and forth on it. I personally think, I mean, to be in a car for 3 hours and change, all that water weight you lose and the reaction time,
I think
you've got to be
yeah.
athletic.
I
You
think-
have to
I
be.
think so too.
I agree. It's just a different kind of a sport, much different. And I've never met any current racers. I haven't met a lot of them, but the ones I have met, none of them have looked like they're flab or out of shape.
Yeah.
They look
That's
they look
what I was
like they're
thinking.
really good.
Yeah, they're not
shape.
some boys that just get out of the
No.
car, and with the belly hanging out, and then they
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
zip
some
up their
football
fire
players
suit, and then
like
they
that.
squeeze on in, and then
No,
it's
no.
not like that.
I
No.
remember AJ Foyt wasn't he looked like he was kind of a little sloppy, but man, that guy, he raced up until he was in his early 60s, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, because some of these, some of the baseball players, you look at them, a little flabby,
Yeah, how about the Panda here in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Carlos Sandoval, or how about Cecil Fielder? But boy, those
yeah,
guys
that's
get
right.
big. Yeah.
Cecil or
Yeah.
Prince.
Or,
Either-
I'm sorry,
either
either one of them. Yeah,
They're both big
I'm thinking
boys.
of Cecil. I'm showing my age here. Yeah.
By the way, I guess the price tag went up on Jimmy Johnson, his 7th
Oh,
NASCAR title,
Yeah. Wow. That's an accomplishment.
Well,
Yeah.
here's a couple things that.
one behind Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt.
That's pretty good company.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome there. Okay, here's a couple of tweets here from people. This one guy says, he goes, I did 8 laps in a Richard Petty driving experience where I got to drive.
Did he throw up?
He says here he came out drenched in sweat.
Sure.
He goes, was nowhere near the limit these guys had to take, not even close. It says it tells race car drivers need to be super concentration like golfers,
Yep.
standing over $1 million putt, reflexes of a boxer, and the stamina of a marathoner.
Mhm.
That's pretty good. I thought that was pretty good.
That is good. That's great to see.
I got to ask Vernon this though. You did all those Mr. Involvement segments on TV. Did you ever get in a race car?
I did.
Yeah.
I've been in an Indy car, and I've been in a NASCAR. I've been in a sprint car. I've been in a lot of them.
I've been in a go-kart.
Well, there you go.
I sweated in that.
I went in a stock car once, and man, I have great respect for it. We were only going 80 miles an hour around the track.
It's not just a bunch of left turns, I can tell you that.
Man, I felt like I was going to be plastered up against the wall.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing he said here is, okay, if they consider golf, bowling, or pool sports that they're enough to be on ESPN, what does a bowler do that's athletic or a pool player?
And more like crafts, dear man. More like
That's right.
crafts.
Yeah, those cars are hot, but these cars are tricked out now, and even the suit is tricked out now.
Yeah.
They got nice running air conditioning running all through the suit. I mean, they make it as comfortable as possible.
I have to admit, if I had to watch a lot of auto racing, I don't watch a lot. I'd probably watch IndyCar because to me, the round the track is
Yeah.
interesting. But the IndyCar, they could take those little
Formula
swoops and
One.
turns. Formula One, yeah. And the courses they have, in the middle of these cities or around the edge of cities, it's really cool.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Formula One tour was just in Austin, Texas, where I was. And man, boy, I mean, that city just went all out for that race.
You get hundreds of thousands of people watching.
Yeah.
Did you see the movie, the one with Chris Hemsworth? On
No.
the Formula
This is the
One?
latest one that came.
Yeah,
The
it's
Ron
actually
Howard
pretty good.
directed movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've not seen it.
I've
no.
heard about that. I've heard about it.
And actually, it was pretty good. In fact, there was somebody I was talking to who was really into Formula One, and he actually said he thought it was a good movie.
Wow.
So that's pretty good, hearing it from him.
Got to get
Yeah.
to my father-in-law there because my father-in-law is a huge.
Okay.
Get one of those guys.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. Second trivia question. The Sixth Man Award was first presented before the 1982-83 season. Which Philadelphia 76er won the inaugural award?
Oh yeah.
First 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. The Sixth Man Award was first presented for the 1982-83 season. Which Philadelphia 76er won the inaugural award? 888-660-4495. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back.
Steve Nicks
Is it
or
Bobby Jones?
Bobby Jones, or how about who's the other guy I was thinking of? Steve Nicks, Bobby Jones.
Not Billy Cunningham. He was coaching by
No,
then.
Andrew Toney. No, he was a starter.
I'm gonna go.
Doug
I'm
Collins.
gonna go Bobby Jones.
That sounds right to me. I was
I'm
going to say
gonna go
Doug Collins, but Bobby Jones was a great player off the bench.
Yeah.
He had sort of black hair, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of
kind of a swing man.
kind of short black hair, kind of
About 6'4".
pasty, ghosty
Yeah.
complexion.
Kind of like Chris Mullin.
We have a few minutes. I'm going to hit the restroom.
Okay.
Aight.
Sounds like a plan. Stan. I'm glad we're getting this rain, even though it's just a little bit.
Yeah, we need it.
I was up
tomorrow,
hiking
too?
of Kentfield this morning with a friend of mine and my dog, and it was super foggy. It was really cool. cool. It's like you're walking in these entrails of fog. You know, they're swooping down.
Mhm.
And a little bit of rain coming down, but not much.
Yeah, you gotta watch yourself on that. Get a little
Oh, it's
slippery.
nice up there. Oh, God. Well, so Memphis should be a good game on Wednesday. We'll go ahead and check that one out.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, Memphis is just like their bitch. They can't.
They got to beat Memphis. I almost feel like going to see that Portland game Saturday night, but I told my wife, I said, I'll just go to one Warrior game a week when they're at home. She's cool with it. It's a lot of fun to watch that team play, though. They are a blast. So Niners and Washington, Raiders. Are you going to be at the Raiders Tennessee, or you have to fly back for the Monday night game, right?
Yeah, I'll fly back. I'll fly out Sunday.
So
Get to DC about 4 o'clock. I got to go to the stadium, shoot a couple of things, feed it back.
That's kind of neat that
stay
you get
there
to
that
do,
night.
No, you guys. That's neat that you get to go on both sides of the bay, because if you get locked into one team, sometimes you.
Yeah, well, the reason why we're carrying the game is because it's an ESPN game, but each station kind of alternate between Channel 7 and 5. They kind
really?
of alternate
Is that right?
the games that are on the NFL Network and ESPN because
Local, if they're local teams.
local yeah because
Okay.
because there's a lot of people that don't have cable.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You know, but they want to be able to see their team.
It's interesting. I always thought ABC got it because they're affiliated with ESPN, but the new setup is that makes sense.
Yeah, it changes it around.
So what were the Raiders like after that win on Sunday? It must have been really
Oh,
exciting.
elated. They're just relieved.
How
you know?
badly hurt is Mike Brazell though? Is he kind of knocked up, or is that just a
I don't know the extent of
but
his.
they lost about 3 linemen, didn't they? Brazell
Yeah.
and
I mean, they're
Watson.
having a bubble gum and Scotch tape it.
That's what I
Those guys
worry
in there.
about with. I don't think Pryor deserved to be given so much crap because it wasn't entirely his fault. He was under siege.
Mm-hmm.
That offensive line's not very good.
But Matt McGloin, good God, I mean, they're all man. Boy, can you
Well,
imagine?
the first possession he gets is on the 16-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
That was, and then he got it in there. It took a while, but he got
But what a
it in.
great story. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know if you know, but he walked on at Penn
Yeah,
State.
yeah.
He beat 4 scholarship quarterbacks to start, and then had a pretty good year at senior at Penn State. Goes undrafted, and then pretty much goes to the Raiders as kind of probably
Kind of
training
camp
camp
arm.
body. Yeah,
Camp arm.
beats out 2 other guys and gets the number 3 spot.
It's a great story. It is. I hate to say it, as much as I still like Colin Kaepernick. I still think he's going to be good, but
Man,
I'd love
running
to
out of
see-
bounds and stuff. It's like he was a lot better than last
You know what?
year.
You know what it is.
Well, he was.
You know what it is. He started last year. He started week 11.
yeah.
Okay, and these 32 NFL teams. I mean, they rely heavily on tape, on film of these guys. So they didn't have anything on it
Oh, yeah.
outside of preseason games. So they didn't know.
That's a good point.
And
Yeah.
so the Niners had the advantage when they unleashed him.
Sort of like a
And-
pitcher when he first
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah, by then
exactly.
it's just too late. It's
Well,
too late. And
On
so-
top of that, I think their offensive line has not been very good.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Much, not against good teams, and that's usually a pretty good offensive line. I mean, the way they were under siege. How many times was he sacked against
Oh.
New Orleans?
6 times.
6 times against Carolina,
I don't know how many times.
and at
against
least
the
4
Saints.
against. I mean, those guys just went after him.
These defenses come in. They know how to play them now.
Yeah.
They seal off the edge.
Yep.
And then they play cover 2 or whatever. And nobody's open.
Yep.
He can't throw it.
Yep.
Can't run
Yep.
because the
Yep.
ends are sealed
Yep.
off.
Yeah.
So and the offensive line, they can only block maybe 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Then you're under pressure.
That last
If
possession.
you don't let
they
it
had,
go.
I mean, that last 3 and out they had, every play was like, God, and he almost gets nailed in the end zone.
Mhm.
That day, they were lucky he didn't get nailed in the safety on that one. That was
Yeah.
borderline. I
Well, you
mean,
got to get if the receivers can get open quick enough, then at least you can release it quickly.
Yeah, but they can't get any separation
Yeah.
because these corners are good.
and plus, they don't have
Yeah.
Crabtree, which is as good as Bolden has been. He and Crabtree had a great simpatico.
Well,
last
Bolden,
year.
you put 2 guys on
Yeah.
Bolden, you take them out.
Yeah,
And so all you got to do is worry about is Vernon Davis was hurt.
yeah.
I mean, it's just there's just no threat.
Yeah.
But they got rid of Ted Ginn because there was no room for him.
I don't know if it was a money issue. I don't know.
Because he was good. I mean, last night, but just
Goldson's
in general,
gone, and Delaney Walker. those
Golson
other
they
guys.
couldn't afford to bring
Yeah,
back.
he wanted a lot. of
Ginn
money.
probably wanted too much.
Yeah. And what was the reason they got rid of Delaney Walker? He got a better offer elsewhere, right?
Delaney Walker was a flat-out free agent, and,
Yeah.
and it was time for him to go get paid.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got rid of
Tennessee had the
Williams.
money.
Yeah. What's that?
Williams, right?
Oh, Kyle Williams.
Kyle
Yeah,
Williams, yeah.
he had a kind of a rough time. He needs to get.
Yeah, I get scared every time he does.
Well, they cut him.
Yeah, I think he could do okay in another environment, but something's wrong there. He's one of those guys that it's unfortunate when that happens. You need to get on a different team. I mean, think about all the great. Talk about basketball. Think of all the great players that came through the Warriors during the bad years. And they got rid of it, and then they ended up becoming stars somewhere else.
It's like, was it Wendell Tyler? Remember, he used to fumble all the time, and then when a guy fumbles all the time, it gets worse because then the
Gets in his
defense
head.
knows,
Defense knows.
That's right, yeah.
Except for an '84 boy, he was the Niners' best rusher.
He was the
He
shit.
was great.
And if they back then, changed too much, but if they go for the ball and they don't get it, then
Well, they have specific drills in practice every day to force the ball loose.
Yeah. Charles Woodson made a great play. Well, you saw, you were there, to strip the ball. I guess it was on the first turnover they got.
Yeah.
They got 2 turnovers in the first quarter.
Yeah, he stripped it. That's the one with Phillip Adams or whatever, picked it up and ran the other way. Yeah.
Wendell Tyler's from there. I remember he used to say, he had a little list because I had him do a promo for KNBR, or not KNBR, some network I was working for. He said, "This is Wendell Tyler of the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to Palo Alto, and I'm going to catch the ball in the Super Bowl. We're going to win it all." This is Wendell
sound
Tyler.
like Mike Tyson.
Oh, he's great. He's great. And Wendell's still around. You know, I think he may be a friend on Facebook. He's a character. He's a good guy. He's got to be this. He's well.
Never knows. Hey, you know what I saw over the weekend? Merton Hanks.
Oh, nice guy. I love Merton Hanks.
Awesome. That gave him a big old hug.
He's a good guy. He is a really
Merton,
good guy.
great guy. His wife, Marva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's the
Good
big
people.
tall gal, right?
Tall,
She's like
yeah.
6.
Yeah,
Eric Davis is married to a tall gal.
Edie, is he?
His wife is like 6'1". I said, Eric, what is it with you defensive backs and these tall women? You know? He goes, oh, I don't know. He's a funny guy.
How tall is Merton?
Not 6'2".
About
is he?
6'2", 3", maybe, yeah.
His wife
Good,
is
I like
6'5".
watching.
But it was wife, yeah.
She's
Noticeably
beautiful.
taller than
She's
you.
worth the climb.
She played basketball at Iowa or something like that?
Yeah, she played basketball out.
Yeah.
Very pretty gal, too. Real nice.
Stunningly attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Merton.
Like,
he's
kinda
not
like,
too much of a looker, as I
Kind of like
remember.
Steph Curry's mom. Best looking MILF in the NBA.
Del
Best
Curry's wife.
look by
Who's?
Steph Curry's mom.
Oh, she's
Oh,
gorgeous.
really?
Yeah, Del Curry's wife.
Woo.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, Google her.
Oh my God,
You remember? Well, this is going way back, and maybe you remember because you remember Shunas Marshallonis was married to a gal who was also a really good basketball player, blonde gal from Russia. I guess they broke, not Russia, but Lithuanian or Latvia, Lithuanian. But they broke up. It was kind of sad because he was fooling around on the road. He was only 25. They had a little girl at home. And
Damn.
I liked him. He was a good guy. He was funny. Had a good sense of humor. He played on those Run TMC teams. Those were good teams. God, that guy had massive legs. He looked like a boxer. He had these big, oaken legs. Tough dude. You would not want to get in a fight with Sharunas.
Oh, really?
No.
Tough, scrappy.
Yeah.
What's her name? Sonia Curry?
Yeah, I think so. Kind of a light-skinned black woman. Very,
Uh,
very, very attractive.
Yeah, it's
Who's
not
the
like a
gal that
picture
works
of
for
her.
the Warriors and she's still there? She's got to be about
Really
6'3",
tall. Yeah, I forget her
6'4".
name.
I really like her. She's got a real confidence, a real nice, quiet confidence about her. She's very friendly, but very businesslike. No BS. Nice gal.
It said Wags Milk. Hold on.
A MILF.
I still can't see her though. Come on.
I always tease my wife because my wife is just a shade under
Yeah, go
5'11".
like Google images and just type in Steph Curry's
Yeah,
mom.
there you go.
Oh yeah.
I know your wife is fairly tall. My wife is probably
Oh, yeah.
how tall is your wife?
5'10".
I was a shade under 5'11". I was teased her. I said, "You just made the cut," because I used to never date women under 5'10" because I just felt really awkward. I used to get a guy who was 5'3", and we used to get these stares. People would always give us stares. She always got a kick out of it. I always felt real self-conscious.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean Maggie gets the height gene? Probably
Molly?
not.
Oh,
I
Molly?
mean, Molly.
Yeah, I don't know. Because both my wife's mom and my mom are both average heights, like normal.
But I thought it was the wife's dad. I thought that was
Well,
the.
both of our dads are tall. My father-in-law is
Then
almost
there
6'4".
it is.
My dad is 6'3", yeah.
Molly will be up there.
But she's a normal sized kid right now.
Yeah, well,
She goes after the boys. It's so funny. She chases him around and goes, "Come back here, my sweet babu." And she's got this one little boy named Liam who's a little jock. He doesn't know what to do. And I said, "Liam, I told him this morning. I said, just remember, girls are kind of a pain sometimes, but they're fun. But just take it with a good sense of humor. She's not going to bug you." She goes, "I know, but she's always chasing me." I said,
that's
"Yeah,
what they
but
do.
I said 10 years from now you'll like the fact that she's chasing you."
Oh, yeah.
Maybe sooner.
I used to chase this one girl who was in kindergarten trying to steal kisses from her.
Oh yeah.
She's still good looking too.
There you go.
I never chased the ugly one.
Oh, it's scary though. My daughter, she's pre-puberty, but the girls don't really start hitting the outskirts of puberty until they're about 10 or 11. But she's talking about this stuff, and where's she getting this from? Her girlfriends?
They
Her
talk.
older friends.
Mm-hmm.
She has two friends who have older sisters that are 12 and 13. So they get all the clothes and the look and all that stuff. Yeah. Different sort of a dynamic there, Vernon. You got the boys. You got your hands full of them.
Yeah.
Man, 3 boys. Holy 14, 12,
14,
11.
12, and 11.
Oh my God. Woo! Wow. Your wife is so good.
I get to just relax thinking about you and the boys.
And this guy also works his butt off because he
yeah.
has to edit all his own stuff. I mean, man, you're a busy guy.
I know, it's amazing how much time it takes. I mean, like when I upload the stuff and then, cut and the captions and
takes
stuff.
a while.
And we do it every day.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
good
I
though. I
don't
mean,
do
this
that.
guy was smart. He saw the trend coming and realized that he wouldn't survive, but he'd probably be better off.
Yeah.
And Kim Coyle, the gal that he replaced, who's so much better than her anyway, but she did not make that adjustment. She refused, and you can't refuse it. And maybe
Well, it's just not for not for everybody.
No,
I mean, it really isn't.
It's but I mean, you got to do that. You got to.
But Kim,
if you want to stay.
Kim didn't have a family. I did. I mean, I needed the job.
Yeah, I mean, and I like Kim. She doesn't do a bad job, but
She's solid. I mean, she won't hurt you.
Solid. She won't hurt you. But I just thought, God, I mean, that's a no-brainer because Vernon can do so much more than Kim can do, and she's.
And the stations are going to require that much more.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of people are mean to Kim too because she's not a bad-looking gal, but she's nothing.
She's gained weight though.
She's gained weight. She's not bad-looking, but for on television, you have to. Unfortunately, for women, they have to be really good-looking, just amazingly dynamic.
It's like they got that. Was it Sarah Walsh or something on ESPN? So
Yeah.
She's not unattractive,
Former jock.
She's not these teeth though.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard not to concentrate on all these teeth.
I know. Well, and Erin Andrews, I don't think is bad.
I don't think she's all that in person.
But
Well, when you see her in person, she's not all that. I mean,
she's attractive.
regular face, great body.
Yeah,
I mean, but
yeah.
that's.
But the thing about her is she's talented, but she's not like exceptionally talented. But she has a certain quality, or je ne sais quoi, that attracts people.
But Amy Gutierrez though.
Oh, you like that?
Well, I think she's very pretty. I mean, I know you don't really care for like her job per
Well,
se.
when she
I
opens her mouth,
sat next to her. She and Paul were working the. They were both in the Giants
Yeah.
game. I don't know why she was there.
Paul's okay. I like Paul. He's and Amy, I'm sure is a nice woman. She never learned how to use her voice. She's got this annoying voice, and her questions are not very bright. And she's gotten better.
She comes up with them all or something.
She's gotten better. She has to because she's been doing this for 5 years. But it's just like the ditzy mom who's, give me somebody like Lindy Bach or even Kim, who knows what the hell she's doing. Amy, she said, take it through that home run back there. And she has that little sort of nasally little girl, schoolgirl.
We have to look past that because she's very pretty though.
I can't handle it. I don't turn on TV to see a pretty girl. I want to see somebody if she's pretty.
I think what happened. I mean, she got off on the wrong foot. She stumbled and struggled. They just threw her in there. Okay, you're the sideline person for.
How did she get the job?
She was doing the Oakland A's the year before on a part-time basis. And once Comcast took over, they have a formula. This is what they want.
But the Giants had to approve it.
The Giants approved it. Larry Baer Larry's very politically correct. He thought, a woman on the broadcast,
We'll put a woman in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a lot of women who know a lot about sports.
Well, and she's had a lot more detractors than I'd say.
And she had some television experience.
Yeah, she worked in Santa
Channel
Rosa.
50, Santa Rosa,
Yeah.
and then she was at Cron for a while, not on the air, but
I mean, she has a presence, but her voice is so annoying. I hear that voice and I'm thinking, God, somebody teach her how to speak. I mean, it's not even how to speak, it's just her voice. It's like this little, it's not her fault, I guess. You know, it's how, like Howard Cosell used to be driving everybody crazy.
The first, well, so she struggled starting off, and that was a red flag for all the other people that were fighting to get in the business, particularly women who were more experienced. They were like, well, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's
you
not
know?
fair to the other
And
women.
then I forget which game it was some game, the Giants won, it was a dramatic game-winning hit or whatever, and she hugs the guy
Yeah, I remember that.
at the end of the interview.
Which is, you know,
and many thought that, well, that just crosses the line. God, I mean, I know you got to wear knee pads.
I mean, you don't hug the guys after.
No, but then again, I don't work for the Giants, and I don't work, you know, and it's the flagship station. And I mean, I get all that, but that from an objectivity standpoint, that was just like, oh, okay, that's it.
How about we get Matt Cain's wife? Have you seen what she?
I've seen her.
Yeah, I don't really know what she's like.
I don't know.
I don't think, you know. I mean, she was. I mean, the last time I really chatted with her, she was like knocked up with her last kid. So I was like,
that's a little different.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like when he pitched his perfect game, and then he kept kind of showing her.
I have to say that part of me doesn't like him because it's a selfish reason. I was doing in 2005, 6, and 7, and it was only just a part-time job. I had no illusions about it. The little pre-game interviews that they would use during the games on the Giants. I did about 40 of them in 06 and 07, and I was hoping to do it in 08. As a matter of fact, I did about 3 of them in 08. And then Chris Oliveira, who later hired me to be a producer, said, "Oh, you know, we want to have a woman in this spot, and we want to have her on regularly. So sorry." So I lost my, little gig. It wasn't that big a deal, but I just thought, get a woman on there who at least knows what she's talking about. God, it just.
But now, I mean, other ball clubs are taking that trip. Very rarely do you see anybody other than a woman in that role.
And it's just
post game.
To me, it's just a throwaway job. It's a sideline job. There are very few good sideline. I mean, I love Michelle Tafoya and what's her face, the gal on ESPN, the little gal. What's her name? Who's got the little smile, and Jody was trying to kiss. I want to kiss you.
Oh, Susie Colbert.
Susie Colbert. I love Susie Colbert. Oh, thanks, Joe. I want to kiss you.
Joe's got to be, 70?
No, not quite. He's, I guess he's almost there. Yeah, you're right. Almost. I'm a friend on Facebook. He has some fun little, he doesn't do it very often, but he posts some fun little stories once in a while. Nice guy.
Still wears his beaver coat, mink coat.
No. He's been through a lot of personal crap that's going on in his life.
Yeah, I remember when he got married to Deborah, and I remember I was working for the ABC affiliate in Richmond, Virginia at the time. He was doing Monday Night Football, and so they would offer him up on these little satellite window interview things, and we had him on, and it was like a live talk back.
That's cool.
And
fun.
And I remember asking him, hey Joe, for the rest of us, why don't you give me 1 or 2 of your little black books? You don't need any more. What happened to him? Like, oh, Deborah, she threw him in the fire. Sorry.
I did one interview with him when he was still playing. When he was with the Rams. He was a backup, and he was nice enough after a game that they beat the 49ers at Candlestick. This is in 77, I think it was. And so I remember I asked him some football questions. Then the last question was, well, what's up next? He goes, well, right now I'm just looking forward to getting home and seeing my lady. That was so cool. The great story about him, though, was, he won the Super Bowl, but the game before that, people forget, they had to dethrone the AFL champion Oakland Raiders, and to beat the Raiders, who had a great team that year, scored 450 points. They had to stop Darryl LeMonica, which they did, and twice the Raiders got inside the 20-yard line in the last 5 minutes of play, down by 4 points, and twice they didn't get anything. One time they went 4th down and they missed. The next time they fumbled the ball. So if the Jets didn't win that game, they wouldn't have gone to the Super Bowl. And Namath got knocked out of the first half for 2 plays. Or right at the end of one play, Ike Lassiter was this big, tough dude from one of those all-black schools in the South, just blasted him. and stood over him and goes, "I got him. He's hurt. He's gone."
Popped right back up.
Namath got right back
I
up.
wonder how many concussions he had.
Well, he broke his jaw, he ruined his. I mean, he had all sorts of knee problems.
Yeah, his knees
Has
were ruined.
both artificial knees now. Another guy's not doing well. Jim Otto. He put a nice little thing on Facebook the other day, but he's really had a rough time. The guy's had 75 operations.
He may be on his way out.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I think you're
Oh,
right.
gosh, he's got to be
70,
75?
yeah, he's 75.
Yeah.
Nice man, too.
75 operations, too?
Oh, yeah. Or up thereabouts. Yeah, a lot
Remember
of them.
remember the NFL Films thing they did on him, and it took him 45 minutes to get from bed to like the bathroom.
He played every game for 15 years, one season, entire season, with a torn ACL. The entire
I mean, you should say it was just painful to watch him having to crack and stretch out his leg. Oh.
Al Davis was so good to him, though. Al Davis treated him, took care of him, and that's why Jim was studying and gave him some investments that Jim turned it into. Jim's financially doing very well.
I remember he used to
Yeah.
do the restaurants.
Yeah, I remember driving up in the Auburn and
Yeah.
stopping there at the Burger King, and he was actually serving and standing behind the counter, and had pictures all over it. Nice, what a nice guy.
Well, it's funny. This couple nights ago, I went to Book Passage to see Gary Pomerantz.
Oh yeah.
And it was really interesting because you can
Good
only
crowd?
talk to someone. It was about 50 people, and he was
Good.
talking about he was telling some more stories.
Oh, yeah.
One of them was kind of interesting, and something I just didn't really think about. Steelers versus the Vikings, which I guess took a whole mind with it. The Vikings, the average run was like 2 feet.
Wow. Just
And,
shut it down.
and one of those runs was 12 yards by Chuck Foreman. If you take that out, 8 inches, less than a football is what the average run was.
I remember
That's how tough the defenses were. Wow.
I remember watching that game and just thinking, they just murdered the poor
they did.
Vikings.
And I was a big Vikings fan back then. I mean, I was pretty
Vikings
impressed with
always-
the Chiefs beat
I wonder whatever happened to Chuck Foreman. Oh, number
Yeah,
44.
that guy was tough. Man, he was good. I remember against the Raiders once, he just ran over a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Season opener. I was like, what the hell is this guy? Damn.
You should be calling in about 5 minutes.
Vikings, think about the Vikings 4 times in the Super Bowl. Last time, 1976. They lost every time.
Well, look at the Bills, 3 in a row.
Yeah, I know. I was at 2
Or
of
4
those.
was it 4 in a row?
3 in a row.
3 in a row.
3 of the Giants and then 2 of the Cowboys.
He's 63.
Yeah.
Chuck Foreman.
63.
They did
Was
lose
it 3 in a
to
row? Maybe you're right. Maybe it was 4 in a row.
Played-
Yeah, they
played-
lost
played
4 in a
for
row,
the
I
U.
think.
You're right. They
Washington-
lost to the Redskins.
To the Redskins, yeah.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
I was at the 2 games with the Cowboys, and both those games were just.
Oh, they were demolished.
They were awful.
But I still love that play.
He played.
Against
He played
Leon
7
Lett.
seasons.
Oh, Leon Lett, yeah. Yeah. How many
He played 7 seasons.
Wow. Yeah, when
all but one for the
Tasker.
Vikings.
Steve Tasker.
Last season was the Patriots.
That's right, the Pats. I love the Patriots being so dominant now. I think it's great. Boston, if you think about it, is probably the best sports town in the 21st century. Patriots 3 Super
Celtics
Bowls.
won,
Celtics have won what, twice, or was it once?
once.
Boston Bruins have won once, and the Red Sox have now won 3 times.
Yeah.
That's 8 championships since the turn of the century.
Chuck Foreman had a kid, Jay Foreman. Says he played linebacker in the league from 99 to 06.
Jay Foreman was his son? I remember that guy.
Chuck's son, Jay
He
Foreman.
was like a backup. I remember that name.
So
Oh, yeah, 14. Bills, Texans, Giants, and Niners
That's
in,
right.
in 2006.
Oh my God! I think he was on a training camp or something. I vaguely remember that. God. Everybody's related.
yeah, you had you had some specific questions. And
Oh, I just
you
threw
wanna
those
keep
out at you just as a, I mean, those are just topics that you can have fun with.
Okay, I know you can come up with some generic stuff.
Yeah. He'd be a good guy to have on stage. Although he's, funny thing is about Pete Myers, nobody knows who he is, but they will soon.
Yeah, Bob Myers.
Bob Myers?
I'm sorry, Bob Myers. They will soon.
Well, he had those high school battles with slipping Mad Dog. He's assistant coach at Stanford now. Former Laker. Stanford.
Oh, so Johnny Dawkins.
No.
Johnny Dawkins guy.
Played for he's coaching with Johnny Dawkins.
Right. Former UCLA, did you say?
No,
No.
Stanford.
Oh, Stanford, former Stanford. Chris Weems?
No. No, big white guy. Come on.
Mark Manson.
Mark Manson. Yeah, Mark Manson. Yeah. They went to rival schools in the East Bay. And played each other.
Right?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Danville. Yeah.
That's a great. I could talk about that.
Yeah.
Ask him about Mark Manson.
Yeah, they had some fierce
I'm trying to
battles.
remember now. Jerry West wasn't Jerry West the general manager?
He was.
Okay.
He was in the 1980s.
No. I mean for
The Warriors.
when
No,
the
he
guys
was like
were
He was
on
only a
the-
consultant.
only
Consultant,
consultant.
yeah.
Who was the GM?
Larry Riley. And then
Oh.
after Riley left, it became who took over after Larry Riley left? Between Myers and Riley, there was one other guy.
Mullen?
That was kind of Mullen. Got it, right?
Chris Mullen.
Chris Mullen actually
Yeah.
was the
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was a good one too.
Chris Mullen, he's the one that got he's the one that got Andre Biedrins.
Yeah, he did get Biedrins. Biedrins was good though the first couple
He
of
was.
years.
Well, where is Biedrins now?
He got picked up by Utah, but I don't think he's on Utah. The Warriors managed to get rid of him along with another good player they had to get rid of, and they didn't get much in return.
So how long has Myers been with the Warriors, just in general?
Several years, I think 3, since the new ownership. He came in, I think, a little before Mark Jackson. I love this ownership. I mean, I don't know what they're like personally because I've only talked to him briefly, but Joe Lacob and Peter Guber know what the hell they're doing, and Chris Cohen had no clue. And I don't like to take shots at people when they're no longer around, but he was the worst owner probably in the history of Bay Area sports.
He knows it.
And he knows it.
How did he get the team?
Well, he had.
Well, he bought. He was.
Yeah.
He is.
He owned part of it.
He was a part owner. He was a season ticket holder. He was a part owner, and then because he
He had an option
he,
to buy it.
he made his money in cable TV.
Cable TV, yeah. But he had an option to buy the team. They actually had a thing with the owners that you can buy, and he exercised that, and he paid such an inflated price. He paid 4 times what Dan Finan and Fitzgerald paid. But they gladly cashed it. Here, the team is yours. We'll take our, and of course the team went. The first year he takes over, the whole fiasco with Weber and Nelson. You remember how that went?
Yeah.
The whole thing, they went from being a team that should have been in the conference finals to being one of the worst teams, just like that overnight. And
I never liked Don Nelson.
well, Don Nelson, though, I tell you, though, he put together some great teams. He was really good with guys that had big egos. Only Don Nelson could manage Baron Davis, Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, Monte Ellis, and turn them into a good team.
Yeah,
That was a very good
guys. It's funny. I was going to ask Bob about this. 'Cause, I don't know how much. Well, it seems like these owners kind of stay out. They seem to kind of let the. They're not like Steinbrenner. They
yeah.
kinda let
Well,
the-
most owners, yeah. I think these guys are Lacob and Guber, but especially Lacob's the majority of them. He's very respectful to his guys, and he loves Mark Jackson.
Yeah.
And we could tell at the introductory press conference, you could tell this was the guy they wanted. Mark Jackson.
Remember his big soundbite? There's going to be some changes going on around here.
Yeah, it's great. I thought,
Well,
hey
he's got
man,
that
it's about
picture. I mean,
time.
he's a pastor.
I love Mark Jackson.
Me too.
I mean, he's got some faults that we all do, but he's a good coach, and not so much strategically, but it's what he does to motivate and get behind. He's like Harbaugh.
Which is one of your things.
Yeah, he's like Harbaugh. He's like David Shaw. They're very much alike. That's why those teams are winning. Part of the reason. Dennis Allen, to a lesser degree, is that way. Todd McClellan, to a lesser degree, is that way.
So Dan Martinez just said practice went on a little bit longer. Meeting started late. Bob will be joining you guys a little later, hopefully in about 15 minutes. So, okay.
All right, that's cool.
Let's see. What time is it?
Is it 4 o'clock straight up?
I think it's 4 o'clock. My meter's good till 4:20, so I better go down and put some money in it.
Hey, you should just park now. I'm just parking the.
It's a big deal. It's $1.50. My dog's in the car.
Sleeping it off.
God, last night, guys, first the guinea pigs woke us up upstairs. They're chewing away on something making this noise, making the chirping noise. Then our ancient cat comes in. So I put her outside. Then my dog gets up. I hear him click, 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 click with his whole days. I hear this.
What's your problem?
I take him outside. He pees. He comes back in. It's raining outside. It's 3 in the morning. He wants a dog treat. I give him a dog treat. He comes to bed. Then he climbs on the bed with my daughter, wakes her up. She gets all pissed off at him. Then the cat sneaks in through the back door. There's just left open.
She put this on tape.
Oh God, I was ready to kill these animals. And my wife was like, "Could you take care of it, please?" I guess you need
Yeah,
to-
so Mullen was out, Riley came in,
Yeah.
and then Myers was in after 12 months.
Okay. So I got my.
That's how that happened.
Do you want to do yours now before he comes?
Yeah, I better do that. Let me go, and I will do that because I hate to get another one of those little ticky.
Did you know he played at UCLA?
Yeah, he did only play there, didn't he?
He was on the '95 championship team.
That's right. He was on. He was a bench warmer. He didn't come
Bench
in.
warmer.
Yeah. They won, and they won the
Fireflies?
Sweet 16
Yeah.
in Oakland. Remember they won the Sweet 16 in Oakland.
Was that the one where Gonzaga had the big lead and then they lost it all?
Yeah.
Was it that one?
That was the one. Oh no, that was in 2000.
No, when
That was in the
Noah-
2000s. Yeah,
Joakim
that was in
Noah
'95.
That was Morrison. What's his name? The
Yeah,
kid.
Matt Morrison or
Yeah.
whatever.
Isn't
Yeah.
that one Joakim Noah gets right on the 50-yard line, so to speak, and right at midcourt?
Oh
It's
yeah,
kinda-
good memory there.
I remember that one.
Crying inconsolably.
Yeah. Want to hit the head while the going's good?
Oh, the tank's fairly empty.
Okay, what do we got here? I like looking at that thing. Got your treats there?
Hmm?
Got your treats?
Saltless nuts. Name of my football team.
Hey, how are you doing on that?
I lost another one.
Now, do you win any money if you?
Yeah, it's like 8 of us in the league, and everybody pointed up $40. I think it's winner take all. I'm not going to win this league. So.
I always do lousy at those things, like even the the box,
Mhm.
the things like. Oh. But of course, right when he leaves. Edward Brown here.
Hi, this is Bob Myers. I don't know if I'm calling the right.
You are calling the right one.
What's that, Bob?
Hey,
Hey, it's Vern.
I didn't know. I didn't know if I was calling the right place.
Yeah, you're calling
Yeah, man.
exactly the right place.
Great.
Good. Bruce just ran down and put some money in his meter.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, this will be a fun one, man.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we will only take exactly 13 minutes and 45 seconds of time as soon as Bruce comes back. The sports byline is very strict with me about dividing the segments up because of Armed Forces Radio and all that kind of fun stuff.
Well, I'm following your lead. You cut me off whenever you want.
Hey, how's Steph doing? I got an email about how he's out tomorrow.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, it's everything. The concussion issue is so prevalent now that you have to be very conservative in how you deal with it. So, I think in the olden days, you put some ice on it and go play, but that's not the world we live in anymore. So,
Yeah.
you approach any type of head injury, which I think is smart, very cautiously. So, I think the right thing to do is not play tomorrow and then evaluate after that.
Well, I mean, geez, only 11 games in. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So.
It's not, but it is different now. How the protocols that exist dealing with anything to do with concussion across all sports. So he'll be fine. I think it's better than him tweaking an ankle or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good gosh, geez, yeah. I mean, I can remember growing up, it'd be a little smelling sauce or hey, how many fingers? All right, you're good. And then just you get on back in there.
Yeah, and now you do anything and you're getting an MRI 10 minutes later. So
Mm-hmm.
different deal, but I guess it's good. It's progress. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Mm. I work with Dennis O'Donnell over at Channel 5, and he just did an interview with Lee Steinberg the other night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, yeah, because he's trying to get back in the game.
Yeah, Lee is.
Yeah.
He's been in and out. He was. I mean, I think besides his own personal stuff, he would have. He's been one of the most successful guys to ever do it. So he must be good at it.
I don't think Jerry Maguire gets made without him, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
He's he's impressive. I mean, if he's back at it, I'm sure he'll be successful again in no time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been fun. Every my regular off days from 5 or Monday and Tuesday. So Edward's a buddy of mine. So every Tuesday we just kind of come in here and spin a little yarn and kind of hit play and record and kind of have fun with it. So.
Yeah, well, I'm following your lead.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, when what we do is I'll come back from break and what we do is we ask the trivia question that we asked, and then let the guys answer it, and then I'll introduce you.
Okay, great.
All right? Good. I just called Bruce. He just put money in the meter, and he's just coming right up now.
Great.
Is there anything you wanted to ask him ahead? Oh, there you go. Okay, Bruce?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm just one of those wing it guys. I just kind of wing it, and
Yeah,
Bob is so good. He
he
just
goes fast.
plays with it. So
Okay,
Yeah.
let's get Bruce. Okay, Bruce is back in here.
all right.
We got Bob on the phone.
Hey, Bob, how are you doing? Sorry about that. I was feeding my car the meter,
That's more important than any of this.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
That's a charge on number 5.
and Bruce McGowan.
Basket by.
Okay, when we ask the second commercial question, trivia question, here it is. The Sixth Man Award was first presented for the 1982-1983 season. Which Philadelphia 76er won the inaugural award?
I think Vern's got this.
I'm gonna go Bobby Jones.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Bobby Jones.
Yeah!
Okay.
I'm just showing off for our guest coming up.
That's right. And we have on the phone right now Bob Myers, who is the general manager for the Golden State Warriors. Bob, welcome to Sports Econ 101.
Thanks for having me. I would not have answered that question correctly.
Hey, you know what? Just real quickly, I'm going to ask you the first question because I stumped these guys. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, what was his first name, his given name?
Oh, I know. Lou Alcindor?
No, actually his first name is Ferdinand.
Who knows that?
You know,
Yeah,
so-
exactly. That's what we said.
That's what we had to
Not
say.
even fair. Yeah, well, apparently Lou is his middle name.
Yeah.
Trick question.
Trick question.
I'm not sure that's corroborated. I have to wait to get validation for that.
Okay.
Hey Bob, hey, you got to feel like the king lately because I mean, here are the Warriors. I mean, at the time that we're talking, 8-3, second best record in the conference, and there's only 3 teams overall that have a better record. I mean, you got great guns. You got you got the big man in the middle. You got 14,000 season tickets sold. You're going to be on national TV 17 times. I mean, it's just. I mean, well, you're not sneaking up on anybody.
And doesn't Mark Jackson say you've got the best court right there?
Yeah, the best backcourt in the league is what he says.
You know what? When we lose, I need to call you guys for a pick-me-up.
That's what we're here for.
Well, you got to remember, Bob, that team was so bad for so long. I mean, you guys had nowhere to go but up. But I have to give you the credit, not only you and Mark Jackson, but just the guys you picked up. Andre Iguodala, for instance. Tell us how you got this guy. How did you pry him away from Denver? Because I mean, that's a huge pickup.
Oh man, that's if we had 2 hours, I'd give you the whole version. But it was like anything in life, relationships matter, and he was able to get a close look at us and how our organization operates by playing us in the playoffs in that first series with Denver. And players that have been in the league a long time do dissect and analyze what they view as good organizations or teams they'd like to play for or coaches they'd like to play for. And fortunately for us, by him playing us 6 times in the playoffs, it gave him a taste of what we're about, not just as a basketball team, but as an organization. He watched our fan base, played in an arena in Oracle that everybody would love to play in and play for the Warriors. So thankfully, he got to experience that. And when we met with him, he's a very cerebral guy. And he chose to meet with us knowing that we had no ability under the cap to sign him, no real way to trade for him because we were unwilling to give up one of our good young players. So he really was the driving force himself in the ability to acquire him. And he told us, this is the place I want to play. Mark is the coach I want to play for. Warriors is the organization I want to play for. I think it could really help out. So he gave us the confidence to go out and try and find a way to do it. I don't want to bore you with all the machinations that took place to do it, but it was very exhausting. It was a team effort, and many times I would walk in the door past 10 o'clock at night or closer to midnight and look at my wife, and I told her many times, this is not going to happen. We're chasing something that's not possible. And I remember specifically telling her one time, I said, you know what's too bad is that no one's going to know how much effort was put into trying to get Andre Iguodala, because in sports all that matters are the results. And if you're second, you might as well be last, and you have to be first. So fortunately, it broke our way, but his patience, the relationship I had with his agent, his willingness to wait and forego some other more lucrative offers, many factors played into us being able to sign him. But for us, I called it a transformative moment because when you're an organization that can secure a premier free agent at a discount, you really feel like you may have reached a level where things are trending in the right direction. And it was a statement for us in that capacity where in the past this organization may have had to overpay a player to get him to come to Golden State Warriors, whereas now we're perceived as a brand, as an up-and-coming brand and a place people want to be a part of. So it was very exciting. It's a what have you done for me lately business, so you got to keep going. But our organization, our ownership's committed to every day trying to be better.
Yeah,
and
Bob,
I think that's what makes it successful.
Yeah, I figured that it's one of those situations where a guy plays so well against you, you say, I don't want to play against this guy anymore. We have to get him on our team.
Yeah. No, he's you know what's funny? It's like when you guys go out and we all are consumers and we go out and purchase a vehicle or a jacket or a tie. And at the time of the purchase, sometimes you wonder, especially if it's a big purchase, is it worth it? And sometimes you go home and try the jacket on or drive the car a couple times and you say, you know what? I probably spent too much on this. Or conversely, you might come back and say, man, I love this car or this jacket is my favorite jacket. Well, Iguodala to me, personally, and I think to our organization, has overperformed. We thought we had a really good signing in Andre Iguodala, but getting to know him and see him up close, he's even surpassed our expectations. So very great character, obviously good player. So we're fortunate to have him.
You've got the benefit of seeing this from both sides, being a former agent for NBA ballers. So I mean, there's no fooling you, Bob. I mean, there's nobody pulling any wool over your eyes. And having say that, the people, the fringe fan, looking at the history of the Warriors, especially in the playoffs, they're probably wondering, how did you build this team? I mean, what blueprint did you use?
Well, I think, and thank you, those are nice things to say, but I think what the focus...
Don't worry, the tough question's coming down the road. I'm trying to soften you up right now. Now go ahead.
Hey, Bob, I got to tell you before you start, when I met Mark and Jerry at an event, and the team was just not, Mark was just starting, I told him, I said, get your uniform ready. And Jerry, you too. I don't care if you're 73 years old. Get your room. They're going to need you. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, the most exciting thing in any kind of effort is the journey, and any kind of something you're trying to accomplish. It's not the final destination; it's the journey. So Mark's been there when it started, and so was I. So it's happy to see it going in the right direction. But being an agent, I think in anything, having the perspective of the agent, having the perspective of the player is important because they're able to view things from their vantage point. So knowing that a player like Iguodala, or any player for that matter, especially if you've played long enough in the league, money matters. Money always matters in anything in life. But sometimes there's more things that play into a decision. And knowing that for Iguodala it was more than money because he decided to sign with us for less. So being an agent puts you in the mind of players a little bit, but also the reason I think Iguodala was possible also is because I used to work with his agent in the office 3 feet away. So
okay.
when it came down to signing him, and so much what people don't understand is that in the NBA, there's a period called moratorium where you can't officially sign a player to pad and paper. You have to agree orally on a number and the specific of a deal. So all you have is each other's word. So it's very precarious if you don't trust the person you're talking to, because when we decided to agree to sign Andre Iguodala, there's no paperwork that's been signed. We announced that. They agreed to it, but I've seen situations where things can go the other way. So having rapport with people, and it doesn't have to be specific to this business, but in anything in life, having worked with somebody, having gone through a deal with that person, having negotiated with that person, gives you the trust level to do deals. And for this specific thing with Iguodala, I remember talking to his agent, Rob Pelinka, and saying, Rob, I'm not going to leave you hanging here. If we can't do it, I'll tell you. And I also remember telling him numerous times, if you need to take something else, don't feel it. I don't want to hold you hostage here. We don't want to hold you hostage here. So it was very honest communication, and then to his credit, he was honest on his end. So being an agent helped in that way, having formed a relationship with another agent, having worked with him in the past. So it gives you a different perspective from the player's side, from the agent side. I think it helps.
How embarrassing could that be to, verbally announce it and then something goes wrong? And then you have
It happens. And you know what happens is sometimes an agent will say on behalf of his player that we've agreed to a deal, and then what happens, unfortunately, is there'll be another offer that comes in that is more lucrative. And the player, whether it's the player or people around the player, will understand that he's not bound legally to what he accepted orally. So you see people renege on deals, and it's very damaging. It's damaging to relationships. It's damaging to organizations. So trust is huge. It's not just in any business, but especially here when you're talking about making decisions based on somebody's words. It's very important.
How shaky, dicey, how much of a challenge was it in making sure that your big man Andrew Bogut was kind of signed, sealed, and delivered fairly recently? And the reason why I asked that is because there was a time where we thought, well, is he coming back or is he not coming back? And then I believe even he heard trade talk. Maybe he might be not a part of it. Maybe he might go in another different direction. The injuries, but that just if you could just share with us just any anxious moments there.
Yeah, anxious moments every day. Anxious right now. Yes, absolutely. I mean, every decision you make, it's in this business, when you're basically a steward to the public and you're helping construct a team or build a team or make transactions that are going to be poured over and logged on and critiqued and applauded or, like I said, people disagree as well. So there's always anxiety, and in this business, you're dealing with people. So when you put money into an NBA player, it's guaranteed money. So you're betting on that person's health, you're betting on their character, you're betting on their competitiveness, you're betting on the maturity. So absolutely, every time you sign anybody, and Bogut included, who had a history of health issues, you take risks. You have to. But hopefully the risks pay off, and you're rewarded for your risks. We felt like, as an organization, that we'd seen Andrew come back healthy in great shape. We also knew that the market is not flooded with 7-footers that can defend and are competitive like he is and has the intelligence and the acumen that he does. So we felt like it was worth it. But anybody that sits in the front office of any organization and tells you unequivocally that they are sure about any decision, short of drafting, LeBron James #1, most of what you do is gray area stuff, and you hope that it works out, and you do your homework and you do your due diligence, but in the end, there's risk involved in everything, and there certainly was there, but we felt like it was calculated and it was the right decision.
Bob, do you ever ask some of the other players, like when you wanted to get, let's say, Iguodala, or if you wanted to re-sign Andrew Bogut, do you ever ask them for like their opinion about, from the standpoint of camaraderie, what it's like in the locker room, that sort of thing?
Well, I think with the leaders of your team, the players that you've designated as captains, you try to include them in some capacity when it's appropriate. For example, if a player, if in pursuing Iguodala, we had heard from 4 or 5 different of our players or impact players that this is a mistake and we don't like this guy, he's a bad guy, that would give us pause. If it was a steady stream or a big group of people that were against it. But for the most part, you quietly do some research on the player. You get the best information you can. You trust what you've seen. You're always trying to gather information about players around the league the best you can. But if there's a big tide in a negative direction, it does make you stop and think about what the right or wrong thing to do is. But ultimately, you weigh all the information you have, whether it's information from players, from ex-coaches, from college coaches, from ex-teammates, and then you make the best decision you can. But
hey, Bob,
every piece of information is factored in.
We're going to have you on again because I want to ask you questions about salary caps and wanting to win it all. But unfortunately, we got to cut to our next commercial break here. Actually, maybe if you could stay maybe for just a couple of minutes for our closing comments, that would actually be awesome.
Sure.
Okay, here's our third and final trivia question. Which team won the first ever NBA championship in 1950? First 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. Which team won the first ever NBA championship in 1950? Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
I know it's 1946. First NBA championship.
This one says I didn't make this up.
Okay, Philadelphia Warriors won the very first with Eddie Godley as the
Bob, you know the answer to this one?
No, I don't even try with these.
Yeah. No, it was 1940. I don't think it was called. I think.
46?
Yeah, it was actually 1946, 47, but it was called.
It wasn't called the NBA.
It wasn't called the NBA,
Yeah,
but it became the NBA.
Yeah.
It was the only pro league. I think it was called the National Association of America or something crazy like that. Yeah.
People get these. The people in. There's a lot of people that know this stuff.
Oh, you
Well, some of these questions are pretty hard.
Yeah.
Not easy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm surprised you guys got the Bobby Jones one.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Hey, next
Hey,
time.
blind squirrel can find a nut.
Yeah, there you go. Next time you come on, I'd love to get you to talk a little about Mark Jackson because I tell you.
That's great.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I tell you what. If we only have it's going to be a short 2-minute thing, so maybe can you
Okay,
just
real
answer that
quick.
question real fast?
Maybe you could just tell us.
There's so many onion layers to
Oh,
Bob
yeah.
Myers. I mean, it's, you can go back to UCLA. You can talk about his Sports Illustrated cover shot, holding up Tyus Etney.
Or playing against Mark Madsen in high school.
Yeah, Mad Dog. Yeah. San Ramon Valley against what was it? San Ramon Valley against Monte Vista. Yeah.
That's ended my career. Ended my career.
And is it true Steve Lavin talked you into going out for the UCLA team?
Yeah, I went into the office looking for the rowing coach, and he said, "What about basketball?" That's a true story.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, I'd love to get all this in 2 minutes,
Oh,
but no, we can't do it. So
Well, tell us a quick Mark Jackson story.
Okay, so
When
we'll ask. I'll feed into that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, ready?
I'll follow your cue.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn
Foul.
and Bruce McGowan.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, when we cut to the third commercial break, we asked this trivia question. Which team, we're talking the NBA here, won the first ever NBA championship in 1950?
Brucey, what do
Well, I
you
was
think?
going to say back in 46, 47, it was the Warriors, or 45, 46, but that was called the National Basketball Association of America.
Something,
or something.
yeah. Okay. Bob, do you know the answer to this one?
I know. No way.
Okay,
A hard no.
How about the Minneapolis Lakers?
Oh,
Minneapolis
Over the Syracuse Nationals.
Was George
Was
Mikan?
George Mikan on that team?
Yeah, I think so.
Five
Wow.
time that he ended up with
Okay,
Lakers champion.
Was he the first great big man?
Oh,
Probably,
I
yeah.
think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mike, sure. We only have a very quick minute, so Bruce, you want to ask?
Well, I
Bob a
just
question?
wanted to ask Bob a question. A lot of our listeners don't know that much about Mark Jackson. They know he was a player. They see him on TV. Tell us just a quick summation of this guy, because to me, he's one of the dynamic young coaches in the NBA today.
Mark, hiring a coach and finding a great coach is very difficult. It's possibly more important than the players on the team, and Mark has done a tremendous job. And I knew Mark before I got with the Warriors, from playing pickup basketball with him in Los Angeles. So my story on Mark is you get to know a lot about somebody. I think Obama mentioned before he wanted his sister to marry Craig Robinson, the basketball coach, he wanted to play basketball with him, because when you play pickup with somebody, you learn if they're selfish, if they're honest, if they're good teammates, if they're vocal. So I knew Mark before and been in pickup games with him, so I had a ton of respect for his character, and he's taken his career and his ability to motivate people and his tactical, all the things he's learned as a player through great coaches. So he's been tremendous for this team. He's really changed the culture, and we're lucky to have him.
Well, Bob, thank you so much for joining us. It's Bob Myers from the Golden State Warriors, general manager. Here's our thoughts for the day. NBA player Patrick Ewing said, "People complain that pro athletes make a lot of money, but what they don't understand is that we need a lot of money because we spend a lot of money."
That's true, yeah.
And
Yeah.
according to auto racing commentator Bob Barsha, the drivers will have 1 foot on the brake, 1 foot on the clutch, and 1 on the throttle. That's a
Okay.
good one. Okay, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101, where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective and give away vacations for answering sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long. Bob, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was great, Bob.
Again, we'll have to have you on next time when we can spend more time with you.
Hey,
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Hey, Bob, before you go, I got to ask you a quick question, and I'll try to